So here's a relatively quick video. We want to, you remember we had a Binatone long range 40. This is our own set, which I think we've been given, and it's got the totally broken telescopic aerial, and somebody's put this copper rod in there and soldered it up. I think they probably used it with a rubber duck, but you're looking at 1/8 of the normal range if you do that. So what we want to do is to measure the rubber duck. I didn't want to do this with the customer set, and it wanted to get back before we start messing about. Not sure where all the screwdrivers are on this bench. We'll just use the wrong ones. So yesterday I spent a lot of time doing a tune-up on our President Grant 2, which is, we don't do SSB sets normally. It's the first time, no, it's the second time we've done an SSB set. Following the manual precisely, we can't do the modulation for SSB because I don't have a two-tone generator. But that aside, everything else was done as per manual, and ours was a new set. And the reason for that is there's a customer wanting to send in one which has been on a bad aerial and been knackered up by that. So that was what that. But that's going to take a lot of editing, so we can get this one out relatively quickly. I also want to do an unboxing. That should be a 10-pack on this set. Doesn't matter if it's 8, but it's going to be alkalines only rather than rechargeables. But that, all that aside, we're not here to service this set of mine. We will one day, but we're going to get a new aerial for it first. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll actually keep it out of the set. No, we won't. I'll tell you why we won't. Because I'm going to lose all. I'm going to lose that grommet, which is vital. Now, there was a bit of a query yesterday. There was a hole through this board for adjusting the deviation, and there's also a hole in this board for they don't seem to all have that. That was pointed out to me. So drop it on the floor. So for a start, it's got a thread, and of course it's shaped so that it can't move around. So, is it M3? Because it looks it. Here's a normal side screw for a radio. So that is an M3 thread, so that is definite. I think we need to make some notes on this. You know, printers churn out extra pieces of paper. Right. We'll have to look at a perfect one as well to do the. It's M3 thread in base, initial element, (134mm). 5 1/4 inch. So I'm going to get a micrometer and we'll look at the diameter. Looks about 12mm. So this is my own demonstration set. So hopefully it's got an intact aerial, because it's supposed to have. Right. So from here, I'm going to measure from here upwards with a tape measure. This is of course absolutely vital because the SWR would be through the roof. I'm sure I just managed to pull it in a bit there. Just check it's fully up. Yep. And we've had 8 miles on one of these. .41. 55.5 inches. 1.41. Plus that. So we'll add that together. Now I want to know how many elements it is. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 elements. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and the 13th. Now they're not normally 13 elements, are they? Thirteen elements. So if we add that to that, yep, 134. So it's 1.444, 1.45 I expect. It may be even in inches. And if we add that together, it's 59.75 inches, isn't it? 5.25 plus 54.25. So there you are for people who do it that way round. The diameter, making sure we reset, .38. .525. So there we go. That is the aerial. I'll just put our set to one side. And this grommet is absolutely vital. If it was missing, and I've had them missing before, you've got to make yourself one. Otherwise the aerial shorts against the metal case. Now what we want to do is, here's the suggestion, is it the same as in the grate sets? The cover's missing there, isn't it? I'm putting it in the wrong bit. I think it'd be easier. I mean, that obviously needs replacing as well. Where did I put the case? If this was a pantomime, you'd be going, "It's behind you." You're getting all this in the guide rails. There, I've done it. I'll just bung that in. Quickly put these screws back. So one day I'll get to find an aerial somewhere and we'll be able to do a service on this set. There's no point doing it with a broken aerial. Oh, I suppose there was if I was bored. So this was kindly given to us. On the American market, there was a brand called Royce, and their handheld was also made by the same Japanese manufacturer, who I understand is brainchild, on the same chassis, but of course a totally different board. Is there a possibility that if that wasn't a centre loaded aerial, because we weren't allowed centre loaded aerials at the time in the UK, if that wasn't, it might be possible that the American aerial fits. I've done that with scrap American realistic sets to repair UK sets. So that's going on one side, and I'll go and get the next radio. So this is the CTVR one, which is illegal. It's an AM set on 10 metres, and I think it's in the wrong part of the band to be using speech. Anyway, I mean, these were sold round about 1980, and obviously you could get into some serious trouble. Right, so this is a grate, and hopefully I bought 2 of these because I wanted the aerials. So I'm going to count the elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 13 elements. Now these 2 sets didn't come cheap. I think I paid something like £37 for the 2, solely to recover the aerials. But if you consider that telescopic aerials back in 1981 were £10, you put that into inflation, it's around about £38 today. So it's worth buying a set solely to scrap to recover the aerials. And of course there's several UK. There's the Merit, one beginning with S and something. You know, there are 3 of them which the aerials would fit. Notice the battery pack's missing. So you've got 1 pair of crystals with it. You can say it's AM with the big modulation transformer. Out of interest, let's see what frequency it's on. .86. So I'll have to look that up. I'm not really that interested, but I'll look it up as to where that sits in the band. So it's a totally different arrangement at the bottom. So you have to take the board out. I think on the FM version you've got the speech processor board there. Take the knobs off. So get it to one side to take this aerial out. So, totally different fitting at the bottom. Depends how clever you are, doesn't it, with metalwork, if it fits otherwise. So we were looking for 13.38mm diameter. 13.2 something, that's in tolerance, isn't it? Very important grommet again. Let's count the elements once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's 13 elements. Let's get it fully out again. See what the length is. A half. Just get that on the end again. It's not quite there, is it? You know what? I don't think its overall length is 59 inches. There's actually only half an inch in it. I don't think it would matter. So it would fit. So here's the problem. The different fitting at the bottom. So all you can do is to cut off the tab so that it's flush, because you've lost that shape bit then at the end, so you'd have to make sure it didn't spin round in the radio with a lock washer, which isn't so difficult, but a lot of other sets do that. But if you cut that off flush, you could then drill into the brass and then tap it M3. So it's doable. These AM ones come up from time to time. Now all we've got to do is to put it back together. don't have to put insulating tape in and all that because it's not going to be used. It's here for the demo. So if you think people like me are bonkers paying 30 odd quid for a radio that's absolutely no use, that's the reason why. These aren't as good a range as you'd hope. I don't think we've gone any better than on a modern rubber duck handheld with one of these, with a huge telescopic, which is disappointing. So I don't think we've ever had more than 5 miles. I'm talking about the FM version. Obviously we haven't played with one of these, but remember, these aren't on an AM. You know, if you do get this AM version because you like that kind of thing and you like playing dangerously, just remember these are not on CB. They're on ham radio band, licensed ham radio band, on 29.86. So it could be done if you've got some engineering facilities. It's the kind of thing we could do in our organ workshop. It's not something which I'm going to do except for myself. So there we go. So that is that. So I'll put great type handhelds, similar area, different fitting. So we are. Look at the telescopic aerial on the Binatone Long Ranger. So it is doable. These kind of things do come up, and if you've got engineering facilities where you can pull that off, then you could do it. Thanks for watching. Short video on Binatone Long Ranger 46 and 12 aerials. We've got a lot of long rangers with broken aerials, and that's why these were bought. Thanks for watching.